on Facebook. You're doing all kinds of these things. The planning board's not willing to do anything. Well, I'm sorry, and I apologize, but that's bullshit. Plain and simple. I put my heart and soul into doing this. I do it for free. Every month. I attend trainings. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. If I don't know, I ask. How many times have I had a couple of you council people ask me questions? But you guys could probably get the answers yourselves. I went out and I found them. I got the answers. I brought them back. I gave you my opinion. I gave you the comments that I got. Guess what? I had it thrown in my face at the next meeting. Let's drag Jim Telfer into executive session. Let's ask him to push this thing along. We need the planning board on our side. It's very important we got to get this done. There's money at stake, the grant. I understand that. I'm sorry for that. That's not my fault. Don't bully me into a corner and say, if you don't do this, we can do this. Okay. Well, I guess my back's against the wall. Do what you gotta do. Guess what? Went to court. You guys all know what happened. We're still here. No building. It's pretty simple. So, at this point, I have one request, one last comment. Actually, two last comments. I've been hearing rumors. People are talking. Town board is looking to have me removed and have Marcy Mattis removed from the planning board. For why? Because we supposedly joined the opposition. I signed an affidavit. I did. I handed it to the opposition. That's what you want to call it. All the affidavit stated was a bunch of details and events, how they happened, when they happened. Nothing's untrue.
I don't think I ever said that. I think EJ should be removed.
I didn't say anybody in particular, and I didn't say it was
well,
true.
I'm saying EJ should be removed because he said he can't make a decision either way because he assures some of the people that are.
What's his comment on?
EJ did at one of our meetings.
Yeah, he did.
State
So
that, and I have copies of the minutes with me. He did state at that meeting that this whole project had become a quote-unquote hot potato. That's been quoted I don't know how many times. This is a hot potato topic and subject. He didn't want to get dragged into legal issues. He also said in the same sentence, we're not lawyers. We don't know exactly what's right or wrong. He would rather not get dragged into it. That's what he said.
Well, I think he also said that he didn't want to lose customers too.
He did, and you're right.
Yeah.
And maybe he would have to refrain from answering, abstain, whatever he would need to do if there was a vote. Guess what? We didn't have the opportunity anyways. Didn't matter. I'd abstain if I had to. Marcy would abstain if she had to.
If everyone abstains, you can't form a quorum. If you can't form a quorum, you can't take action. If you can't take action, you can't be an effective board.
You're right.
You can turn the elements of the story any way you want to. No, I don't care. He's not reporting on what the board did most recently. He's now making a soliloquy about what he thinks his position ought to be known to the public. Okay?
Bob, you are not providing legal advice.
How rude you are.
You have no.
He has a right to talk too.
I mean,
He doesn't. Not this time. He doesn't.
when he brings my name
This
up,
is my
as a point of
time.
order, I have
And
a
how
right to
many
respond.
times have you brought my name up?
Well, Jim, you jumped into it. You have no legal duty to give anybody an affidavit. You did that voluntarily. No one put a gun to your head, did they?
Bob.
Well, it's true.
And this is
Can
why.
Only
we
stating is
let Jim
obvious.
finish this report so we can move on?
Yeah, if he has any business that the planning board conducted, he should report on that business tonight and not engage in a philosophical discussion about his position in the case. That's not really a proper report of the planning
Mark for the
board.
record that Attorney Subic
Well,
was
it
warned
sure-
that he
sure
was out
sounds
of
like
order,
it.
continued
It does.
speaking, and I have ruled him out of order.
Does it really? Am I picking sides? Anybody think I'm picking sides?
Jim, go ahead and finish
You know what
your
I'm saying?
report. Please finish your report.
So here's the other issue. If we want to go down that road,
Oh my God.
as the planning board chairman, I'm not comfortable using Attorney Subic to represent us if we have any legal issues pertaining to the planning board. It's very obvious. He's totally against us.
That's not true.
Every time we've had meetings, when he's been in attendance at a planning board, I could quote unquote, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how you act. We're the ones that make the final decision anyway. Just by his actions. He's totally against anything I say. Won't listen to a word. So I'm going to ask tonight, because I have a couple of issues coming up. I have one in particular. I have a resident. It's been in front of us 2 or 3 different times regarding a subdivision. Didn't like our answers. Wasn't happy. He's obtained an attorney. I was contacted. What do I do? Bob's not going to have any opinion for me on my side.
That's not true. I don't even know the particulars about what you're talking about. You're
I know
talking
that.
completely blindly.
Jim has the floor.
I'm just stating. If anything is to come up, how am I expected to have my board be represented by somebody that doesn't respect us for what we do, nor who I am and what I say?
Jim, will you just state, so the request is to have alternate representation?
Appropriate monies to be set aside so that if I need to retain counsel, I can.
Okay.
I tried not to make it a bash session. It's not about bashing anybody. It's about moving forward, getting stuff done, trying to work together. Michelle, you know I've tried. Ton of efforts. You have too. We've had a bunch of communications. None lately. Of course, you were told not to talk. I'm sorry.
Told not to talk to anybody, our attorney. He's right.
I'm sorry. But I'm trying to do what's best. My board's trying to do what's best. If you guys are looking to get me removed, so be it. Have at it.
If I'm able to say so, I've never said any such thing.
I'm not saying anything in particular, and I did say in the beginning, I was told it's hearsay.
It's hearsay.
So
It's a
maybe
rumor.
not. But with the actions that are going on, I can't doubt it.
People are trying to get me removed too.
Why? We're trying to get everybody removed.
Trying to club.
You know, I don't know why we all do what we do.
Good question.
You know what I'm saying? Why? Nobody's ever happy. Nobody ever makes the best decision or the right decision. So why do it? Well, I'm gonna stick it out. We'll see how it goes. I enjoy doing what I do. I've done a lot of reviews. We do have it documented. It's all in our book. We have everything. Exactly what entails in a site plan review. It's a nice little document. It's 20, 30 pages long. I'll get you a copy, Bob, so you got it.
That would be helpful, thank you. That could have been offered 2 months ago.
Bob, you don't have the floor.
All you gotta do is come to us.
Okay.
So, I just wanna say thanks. I appreciate the time. I hope we can all move forward. Hope everybody knows my side of the story, where I stand. I'm not against the building project. That's what I've been told. I'm all for it. Ronnie needs a lot of help in there. He's got all kinds of issues going on with pork. We need to do it for Ronnie. Okay? Let's work together. Let's start over. Just like Judge Seiss said in the beginning, go back to square one. Start over. Whole new slate. We'll sit down and talk. All the boards get together. Have a great session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jen, don't leave. I want to talk to you before you leave, you and your board. Isn't anything bad. I just want to talk to you. In front of the meeting.
Thank you, Jim. There will be another public comment.
I see that. That's why I just asked him to stay.
Okay, great. Okay, so moving on to the supervisor's report. I just want to say I sympathize completely with the sentiment of the town planning board. I also didn't have one position one way or another on the building project for many, many months. My main concern was just having an honest and transparent process. And for that, I have been called many names. I have had my family and my faith attacked. I have, faced a level of political retribution that I never could have quite imagined when I walked into this job. And that was just because I asked some questions and because I insisted on holding the board accountable to following the law. And that's absolutely separate from even taking a position on the building. We are in a very important moment right now. We just opened the bids for the third round of bid proposals for the town hall project in Stone Arabia. They all came in together over $400,000. As of right now, we only have about $368,000, $369,000 in that bank account that's earmarked the building fund, although there's, just to be clear, there's absolutely no legal restriction on that money outside of general fund. And winter is coming. So we really need to do something. Now, I come into this process with relatively fresh eyes. This is my first term in office. When I came in, I talked to a lot of residents, and outside of the walls of the town hall, outside of the staff and the insiders, the town hall project is really the last thing people think about. People in this town are faced with issues of property taxes that they can't keep up with. Good jobs. We don't have good jobs in this town. They're really hard to find or impossible to find. And being able to keep up in general. When they think about what the town does for them, they really think about the highway. The highway services are really important. They get people to work and home every day. But when it comes to day-to-day services like a town hall, it's something that many people, it's just the last of their priorities. So it makes me question, for all these years, since 2005, this money was set aside, and for 10 years, the board has been working on building a town hall, basically while we ignored our main duties. And those duties are to make sure that economic development resources statewide are driven to our region and our area. That means working really well with the county, with the state. It means working really closely and having a good relationship with our town planning board, whose job it is to develop a new comprehensive plan for us, which would specifically lay out what our best opportunities are in this town for development and the roadmap to getting there. Right now, we know it's October, it's late October, the ground is about to freeze, we haven't heard any resolution of the lawsuit yet for this building. We have our records outside with leaves blowing in, and we have the justice in this small room which presents both a danger to his person and concerning to me is also that there's a lack of public access to court proceedings, which is very important. In some ways, the answers are right in front of our faces. We could have done this so long ago, but we just need to move the judge out here. Just move him out here so that we have the bench here, we have the courtroom space here so that people can watch the proceedings. We can take out this cubicle that was put in 15, 20 years ago. It's absolutely not necessary. It just takes up space. And about 1/4 to 1/3 of the records, I did an inventory of all of the records in that storage unit outside. About 1/3 of them can just be thrown out. They're records that we are not required to keep. It's the job of the records officer to consistently keep up with records management, throw out the old ones, keep and add the new ones. We can throw out about 1/3 of those. The other 2/3, some of them can come inside into this supply closet here, clean it out, put in some shelves, move the mop buckets, the cleaning supplies, move them into this room here. It's fine, there's plenty of room. And then the others, the records that we don't need everyday access to, talk to Palatine Bridge, move them over to the village for now. And that's just a temporary solution. It's not going to fix us forever, but it's going to take care of our immediate and urgent problems at almost no cost to the taxpayer. And this, and just to reiterate, the people on this board and members of the public are so incredibly concerned about the safety of Justice Steiger. We can immediately address that issue of safety by moving him out here. There is an exit right there. There is an exit here. And we've already agreed to have on DA night a deputy here to cover him. So we immediately solve our main problem of safety. And then in terms of the records, we can immediately solve that problem by, as I said, moving some of the records into the storage room, moving the others to Palatine Bridge. Now we no longer have an emergency. Now we have at least stopped the immediate emergency problem, urgent problem, and we can do as Mr. Telfer says and start over. Wipe the slate clean. There are so many angry, emotional responses to this project, whether for or against. It's really difficult to get through the facts, between what is fact, what is emotion, what is ego. Set it all aside and begin to, number one, lay out a set of alternatives that are available to us today. What are some potential sites that make the most sense for us? Weigh out the pros and cons, put together a budget, have a conversation about it, include the town planning board, include the county, include the state, include the Office of Court Administration, and any other agencies that would potentially help pay for this, and go from there. And yes, that process is not going to be immediate. No, we're not going to have a permanent solution within 3 months, but the reality is that our immediate needs are taken care of, and we do have the time to go forward with the process that everybody can feel good about. And I know that that we're not going to come up with the one thing that makes everybody happy. I get that. But I know that we can do a lot better. I know we can. And just one other thing, we need yellow lines outside. Nobody knows where to park. we have a lot more parking spaces than what people use simply because we don't have yellow line. So that's another very low cost thing that we can do in the short term while we just, stop this, stopgap solution while we figure out something that people can feel good about at the end of the day. So that's my proposal to the board today, is that we would move forward with bringing Judge Dygert out into the main space. There would be an associated cost with that, although that's actually, it's covered in our building, in the very low building repair line that we have in our budget, and then also to work on moving the records into the storage closet and over to Palatine Bridge. And number 3, add in some yellow lines. So those are my recommendations to the board. We can pull a resolution together to then act on it. We could do it today, although I would prefer to do it next month when we have a resolution. And that's my recommendation for moving forward on the building issue. Second, just for the public to know, I have presented my tentative budget to the board at our first budget workshop. I have also submitted it to the town clerk. So that tentative budget is available for anybody from the town to review. Just request it from the town clerk. I think we were able to come up with a really reasonable budget for this year. We're able to stay under the tax cap. We're able to both stay under the tax cap and not have to make drastic cuts to services. Like I said, I think the real services that people see in this town from us is the highways. So we didn't have to take the drastic measures of cutting highway services or anything like that. We do, and we also are not dipping into the general fund in any significant way. On the highway, within the highway budget, we do go into general fund a little bit. Sorry, off the top of my head, I don't know what it is, but it's not a huge amount. So I think it's a reasonable, sustainable budget. And later in the meeting, we'll be setting a time to have a public hearing on that budget and potentially doing another budget workshop. I mentioned I looked into green fiber and coming up with another recycling vendor. Just waiting on the county and the city of Amsterdam to give me their recommendation on how they're moving forward with that. And also I have spoken with Mayor Barton in Fort Plain and made a proposal, a counter proposal to their fire contract, waiting to hear back. Got a call from them though, they need me to send them an email, but they'll approach it at their next meeting and we can incorporate it into our final budget. I think that's it. Council comment.
I have a couple. I also was getting some information about the paper recycling. There's very little available as far as doing something similar to green fiber because no one wants to pay anymore because there's no money in it. And then I found out that the guys took care of that. Also, as far as the records, there are mobile units, environmentally controlled, that are available. I wasn't able to find a local vendor, but I was having a discussion with Mr. Cotton, our former councilman, in regards to availability on auction sites through the government.
Yes,
units.
If I may, it's called govliquidations.com. They have certain climate-controlled trailers. They're actually semi-trailers. They're like 26 foot long. They already come through with shelves, cabinets, air conditioning unit or heating unit, whatever you'd like to call them. They usually have, I was looking at it the other night, they have an opening bid of $25 for these things. It's a 26 foot semi-trailer. And if you get, if you move forward with a building project or whatever and It's something you could either sell back or use for temporary office space or something.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Also, I had a conversation with legislator Quackenbush, who is a legislator as part of our town. And he said there would be a possibility also that we could work with the sewer district for some temporary storage, and that is a one-story building. I just wanted to make a comment in regards to Supervisor Nicole and Jim. I do feel your pain about being bashed on Facebook and in the newspaper, and it's difficult when we're in a public position as we are, unfortunately. Doesn't make it any easier for your heart and soul to take, but I've gotten a little tougher since I've made some very serious mistakes with comments that I made earlier this year, and have been belittled and beheaded practically many times over that, even though I did my best to make amends. I have a problem though when I'm considered incompetent and not capable of doing my job. It's printed in the paper that way. It's on Facebook, a certain site that way. We're all considered incompetent and incapable. I know I don't have a PhD. I know I don't have a master's degree. I don't even have a bachelor's degree. I have a 2-year associate's degree from Cobleskill College from how many years ago. But I like to think that I have a different type of knowledge, and I like to think that most of the board members also have a different type of knowledge about the people that we live with and work with and have known most of our lives. I'm sorry if I've made mistakes. This is not a political plea, believe me. Whatever happens in the elections happens in the elections. It's not going to make my feelings any different towards my town. Your town, our town, all these years that we've worked together on this board, and with previous supervisors have never 100% agreed. Previous council members have never 100% agreed, but it's never come to the stooping of the level that's gone on over the last year and a half or whatever. I've never been told by anyone in my life that I'm incompetent or incapable of doing my job in any of the jobs I've been paid fairly decently for. And it not only hurts, it makes me angry. Not only for myself, but my fellow council members. And Jim, I feel your pain for that reason too. Because people may have said that you're incompetent. Maybe you felt the same way I do. I appreciate 100%, as I know the rest of the board members do, the volunteers that do their jobs for our town. And if you people think for 1 minute that for $126 a month that we do this for the money, you're crazy. We do this because we care about our town and the people that live in it, and our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren and the people that we don't even know that come to our town and want to make it their home, even though we're considered supposedly one of the highest tax towns in the country. I don't think that's true, but anyways, I thank everyone for their support, and again, I apologize in the past for things I've said that have not been proper, but I think that we've been
You're human.
We've been human, but we've also been, you know, the victim of those same types of remarks. Maybe not about our religion or our beliefs,